Hey, what's going on, guys? Mr. The Reverend here, and today I'm bringing you guys a new series called Pro Spots, basically where I show you guys the best lines of sights, jump spots, nade spots, stuff like that for maps in Black Ops 3. So today we're going to be covering the map Fringe, and I start things off from this bridge spawn, go straight until you find this pickup truck, hop inside, and use these hay bales to give you cover in case you're getting spawn trapped. You can take out the people who try to rush you spawn from the middle of the map, or if anyone tries to come to the right side of the map again. I really do like this spot because it might take you getting spawn trapped. It's very difficult to get. The next spot you want to work straight into the bar and go off the stairs, and then you hop on this little stack of paper right here. I really like the side of this sniper, and then you set the house across the spot. You have an idle on the side, so you can go and what you do is you cover this spot, and you can see the spawn. Moving over still at this bridge spot here, you want to go right, and you go down to the little dark alley. I've killed so many people just by sitting in this corner here. It's a really good spot, especially for safe guard. And no one really thinks that you can that corner, so yeah, it's a really good spot to check the and for another spot in the same area, you're going to want to hop on this yellow canister here, and you have a really good line of sight of the players that might rush you from here to over here. You can walk the whole door to the floor, and if you're getting caught, you can go to the corner right in front of the fences. You can either do one of two things, stand up and pick people off this way, or you can make it very difficult for the enemies to shoot you by going into prone and aim through these little slits through the truck here. And as you can see, this spot makes it very hard for the enemies to kill you. This whole middle of the map is a high traffic area, so you're going to get a good amount of kills if you just use this spot here. Now moving over to the opposite spawn, sometimes I'll sit back here, and on this side there's a lot of little head glitches you can use, so I like to move to each one a couple times in a match just to confuse the enemy team. Now if anyone comes through this metal shack, I like to get on top of this fence here and pick off some of the people this way that might rush in this direction. So keep in mind if you plan on sitting back and playing the more passive role, you can use these couple of spots and get people this way. You're not going to get a lot of kills because I don't really think a lot of people rush this way, but you know, if you're trying to get a high KD and you're playing a more defensive role for your team, keep those spots in mind. And that's pretty much it, guys. There's not really a lot of spots for this side of the map, so keep mindful of that. Just be careful for all the little head glitches on this map because there are a ton, guys. So yeah, guys, hope you all did enjoy my first episode of Pro Spots. Please give it a jump. Like, and also comment down below. We love to your friends. And also, if you have a map you'd like to cover in the next episode, put that down in the comments as well. Thank you for watching. My name is George. Have a great day.
What's up, YouTube? I'm Mr. Nerdy, one back to speaking of the results. Today, I'm bringing you guys a competitive Blitz game, and this is actually from the semi-finals of the tournament. The people we're playing actually knew who I was. This particular round was pretty close because, let's see, they took both domination games from us, but we won both SMBs and the Blitz. We actually won the SMBs and Blitz fairly convincingly, if I remember correctly. The dominations, one of them we had to actually replay because it was tied, but overall it was really close series, really close matches, so congrats for putting up a good fight against us. But we actually still haven't played the finals from this tournament. The tournament host actually fell asleep and we never played finals, so I don't know what's going on with that. Hopefully we'll get to play them, but if we don't, it's whatever. It's just a free tournament. Also, before I get into the topic, real quick, we have a new sponsor. It's No Scope Glasses. Their Twitter is @NoScopeGlasses. The affiliate link that we now have, I'll put it in annotation and it's in the description. And if you guys go there and purchase any of their products using our link, It will help us out a little bit by giving us a small commission, and we'll use that money to help enter tournaments, design GFX, design jerseys, stuff like that. So if you guys would do that, that'd be greatly appreciated. So getting into the topic today, and it's basically everything on how to practice properly. And this is kind of weird. You think, oh, well, everybody knows how to practice. Well, there are a few things that some people don't get all the time, and there's 4 main categories here. I'm going to go over the basics, and then specifically scrimming, and then GBs, and then tournaments. So the basics, the first thing is the proper mindset. So when you are trying to practice, you've got to go in with the mindset of that you're trying to improve. It doesn't matter if you're losing right now. It's just trying to learn. It's a learning process. It's not necessarily a competing process. You're not going for the win every time. You've got to be willing to lose so that you can learn, and you just have to stay calm and focused. Next thing is time management. A lot of times when people practice, including my team, we do this sometimes, you know, once we're all on, it'll take us like an hour or hour and a half to really get started sometimes to, you know, start finding scrims or GBs or anything, because we get lazy and we get a little bit bored. We want to do other stuff, fun things. We don't want to sit down and practice. You gotta use your time effectively. However much time you're able to play, you just gotta get to the grind. Next thing is you gotta be trying new things when you're practicing. This is not necessarily the time to just be doing the same thing over and over again. It does depend on the scenario, like I'll be talking about with the scrims, GBs, and tournaments, as to how much you should really be experimenting. But just know that when you're taking it as practice, you need to be trying new things. Alright, so getting specifically into scrimming. This is the best place to practice and experiment. So the first thing here is that you're going to want to look for a scrim that's in your time zone so that you will have the best connectivity. That's just kind of a given thing. Not everybody does that, because I mean, we used to not do it, and we would get like West Coast scrims, and we'd be like, okay, no, we're just looking for an East Coast scrim because we're mainly on the East Coast. So do stuff like that. Also, try and get a dedicated scrim, and what I mean by this is try and get a scrim against a team that isn't going to leave after one game. You want to try and go through all the maps and all the game modes and everything, or at least most of them. So try and get a dedicated scrim. Also, look for teams that are of equal or greater level than you. I know you can't always gauge this, but that's what your goal should be, because when you're trying to practice, you don't want to be facing teams that are worse than you, because then, you know, it's no practice for you. It's no challenge. You don't even have to think about it most of the time. Also, remember, this is the time to experiment, try new strategies, try crazy things. You know, because I mean, scrims don't really matter. Nobody should be judging you off of it. I know some people do, but nobody should be. Also, make sure you get in your worst maps in the scrims. This is something that we do, although there's still this one map that we always try and skip over in scrims, and that's Octane Dom. We just hate that map so much, but you gotta try and play your worst maps. It's just something that's very, very important in scrims. You gotta get them down. Next thing is, don't waste time. Have everybody looking for a scrim on your team, because sometimes scrims take a while to find, and that wastes so much time. Just everybody go on Twitter, go on the MLG forums, and start looking for a scrim. And then as soon as you get one, invite them and get it going. Don't waste 45 minutes looking for a scrim. Next, never get mad in a scrim. Like, this is not the time to be getting mad. There's no reason to get mad. It's a scrim. It doesn't matter. Now, if your teammate does something stupid or something that you think needs to correcting, go about it in the right way. You know, give them constructive criticism. Don't be tearing them down. You just gotta tell them what they're doing and be like, okay, this is what I think you should be doing. Can you try this next round or next side or next game, whatever it is. Also, never judge anyone based solely on a scrim. Like, you know, the other team, don't be saying, oh my gosh, these kids are awful or whatever from a scrim. Because a lot of times people in scrims, they're either not trying or they're trying new things, and it may not work out all the time. You know, it's not your place to be judging people based on scrims. And I know this is somewhat impossible. You know, you always have those first impressions of people. You're always going to judge them on some level, but try and keep it in your mind not to judge people, because it'll boost your ego sometimes, and it'll make you very egotistical, if that makes sense. So it's just try and stay humble, I guess, while you're scrimming. Alright, so moving on to GBs. So the first thing is pick your game mode. I know basically you're going to be choosing between MLG variant or S&D only. So I mean, because there's not a lot of, you know, domination only or blitz only or anything like that. But you know, pick whatever you need the most practice in. If you're really weak in S&D, go for that. If you're weaker in your respawns, go for that. And then the next thing is that you want to get higher level matches. I know some people get so worried about their MLG ranks. I've done it sometimes, but it's not as important as getting experience against better teams, because yeah, you know what, your rank may take a dip for a while, but you're going to get better and it's going to go back up, and then you'll go even further. So let's say you're at, I don't know, 30k right now, and it's because you've been playing like really cruddy kids the entire time, and now you're facing better people, and you go down to 60k and you're like freaking out. But then all of a sudden you notice you're getting better and you're starting to win more and more against these higher level teams, and you go all the way back down, and then you go even further and you get down to 15k. So I mean, it's really good practice. Just don't be worrying too much about it. This is for GBs. There's less experimentation. It's a little more serious. You gotta try a little bit harder here. This is more of a time to keep calm and focus on correctly executing strats that you already have from playing scrims. This is also the time to learn counters to your strats from opponents, to pay attention to how they're trying to counter you. Also, make sure you're getting best of 3 matches if you're on the team ladder. Best of 1s are okay, but they're just not quite as good. It's, I don't know, just more time wasted, kind of less practice. And then getting into tournaments, this is the absolute best way to improve. The problems with it though is that it's the most stressful and the most time consuming, and there's a lot of time wasted as well in between rounds sometimes, because, you know, if you're doing best of 5 tournaments, you know, you could 3-0 a team, and then the upper part of the bracket or whatever, their game goes 3-2 and they had to replay a map as well or something, and then you're there just waiting for an hour and a half. But it's the best way to improve. I always see the most improvement after tournaments, so it's very, very good. This is the time to be focusing on strats. It's the time to learn how to handle the stress, how to communicate under stress, and also reading your opponents, learning how they're going to you know, counter you. This is the time to be practicing your judgment skills, basically, of, okay, our opponents have been going A this entire time, you know, just picking up on your opponent's strategies and everything. This is the time for that. So those are the basics of practice, guys. I hope that this helped somewhat. So as you guys can see, we're coming to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, then please like, comment, and or subscribe. If you didn't, then let me know what I can do better next time. Constructive criticism goes a long way, guys. Until next time, everybody, peace out.